Producer's Room, a streaming web series featuring the creators behind the hit songs of today's music industry. Songwriters, music producers, and artists discuss their creative process as well as examining current issues and technologies in today's rapidly changing music business. Your host is producer, songwriter, and educator Dave Tuff. Welcome to the Producer's Room.
Hey guys, thanks for watching The Producer's Room. Once again, this is Dave here in my home studio. Today on Dave's Waves, we're going to talk about repetition as an effective technique in songwriting. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hey guys, today's Dave's Waves, we're going to talk about some songwriting techniques. Specifically, we're going to talk about the songwriting technique of repetition. You'll notice in most successful songs, repetition is used either in repeating the chorus, in repeating melodic themes like we saw in the Michael Jackson example from the last Dave's Waves, repeating riffs, repeating hooks. We're trying with repetition to build familiarity with a listener's in a listener's mind. Because if you think about radio, you're competing against all the stuff that a listener has heard several times before in the past. Take a classic rock station, for instance. You know, they may have heard that song 100 times before, and now you're introducing a new song. Their general feeling would be not to hook on to the new song. So you have to give them as many reasons as you can. So today we're actually going to specifically talk about repetition of the hook in a song, and also just a little bit about what person the song is written in, because to me those two things tie together as well. The first thing I want to point you to, if you have time, is to go check out a study I wrote for the MIA journal, the Music and Entertainment Industry Educators Association, a couple years back in 2013, and the specific article is, if I can get down to the bottom here, entitled Teaching Modern Production and Songwriting Techniques, What Makes a Hit Song. So what we did in this particular study is we took the Billboard Hot 100 charts, which is all different genres, but the Hot 100 radio play and album sales and streaming and all that put together, and we took those top 100 songs, which actually after they rotated it was 136 songs, and we analyzed use of title and how long the intro was and all of that, and we found some interesting things. So anytime I talk about songwriting, I may go ahead and reference some of the research that we did in this particular study. So moving on to repetition of the hook. When I moved to Nashville and started writing songs in Nashville, I had come from Los Angeles. Los Angeles being the pop world and Nashville being the country world, and I was told basically in so many ways, if you repeat the hook a lot, you're basically taking up space in the song. And I always, in my gut, disagreed with that, because I felt like the listener really, to catch on to the song and remember it and walk down the street singing it a few hours later, needed to hear the hook several times. So I don't think it's a crutch to repeat the hook in a song several times, just my opinion. Of course, the usual objective is to have enough repetition of the hook without causing too much boredom in the listener's mind. You're trying to breed familiarity. So what I want to show you in the next few minutes is just some songs that I kind of justify myself with if I'm making the repetition argument with another songwriter. Pulling up here BMI Top 100 Songs of the Century. Of course, they're talking about the 20th century, but these are the songs that got the most radio play in the BMI catalog, ranked by number. And there's no mystery of why they got radio play. They were popular songs with the public. So I wanted to look at the lyrics of some of these and just look at how much repetition is used in the songs. So let's take the first 3 or 4 songs here on the list. The number one song played in the 20th century on radio and performing rights is You've Lost That Loving Feeling by Barry Mann, Phil Spector, and Cynthia Weil. So I went ahead and pulled up some of these lyrics, and I just want to show you what I'm talking about with repetition. So before we even get into that, I want you to pay attention to the tense also as we're going along of some of these songs. Most of these songs are speaking to the listener in the second person, you. They're speaking right to the listener.
It would just been just as easy for Phil Spector and Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil to say, "We never close our eyes anymore. I never close my eyes anymore when I kiss your lips." But it doesn't. It says, "You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips." Therefore, you're engaging the listener and pulling them in with that particular lyric. So I would argue in some of these songs, "you" is an actual hook of repetition too, and that's why I'm saying it, because you'll just kind of be able to glance through here and see how many times they've actually used the word "you." But let's go ahead and focus on the actual hook, quote unquote, that's in the title of the song, which is "You've lost that loving feeling." Okay, so even if we look at that particular hook, we're going to notice in the chorus that the chorus is only about 4 lines, and how many of those lines have that loving feeling in it? 3. 3 out of the 4 lines have that loving feeling in the chorus. Now, a lot of people might say, "Gosh, that's boring looking at it on paper." But once again, remember, this is the #1 selling song of all time. So we look at the chorus, and once again, it repeats the exact same thing in the second chorus. And you could also argue on the song "Baby" would be a secondary hook. I know after Justin Bieber, it's kind of gotten tired, but look how many times they have "baby" here. Baby, baby, baby. Okay, so go down here, and look how many times, once again, this chorus is repeated. And then let's go ahead and take the bridge. You got "love," love, which is also part of the actual hook. All right. And look how many times these are repeated, okay? Baby, 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 right? And then "I need your love, I need your love, I need your love, I need your love," with an echo. Bring it on back, bring it on back. Even secondary repetition there in the bridge as well. So if I was to go through this song and count "love" and "feeling," I'd probably count on, my hands and my toes. Probably 20 or more times they're either using "love" and "feeling" or the word "love," which is also part of the hook. All right, let's move on to the second song on our BMI top 100 songs, "Never My Love," which is written by the Idrisi Brothers, the Association. And this is more of an AAB, A form. Once again, look at the tense, you, right? So, in fact, both of those songs, the top 2 songs, start with "you." Right away, you're talking to the listener, drawing them in. So if you yourself, look at how many times "you" is through the song, it's obviously a secondary hook calling on the listener and engaging the listener. Every time at the end of the verse, "Never my love, never my love." Next verse, "Never my love, never my love," or the A section. Then we got the bridge, okay? And then once again, at the end of the bridge, I would still consider this the end of the bridge, or the B section, "Never my love, never my love," and then "Never my love, never my love." And if you listen to the record, even on the outro, there's some counterpoint with background vocals and the lead vocal saying "Never my love." All right, what was number 3? I might have to look that one up. Yesterday. Well, we can all think of these next 2 songs in our head. Yesterday, da 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 da. Okay, so at the beginning of every verse, it repeats "yesterday." Now, that particular song is from an I perspective. And "Stand By Me." Let's go ahead and pull "Stand By Me" up. Okay, let's see how many times they repeat "Stand By Me" and also who they're talking to. Okay, so once again, they're talking to the listener, the "you." They repeat the hook at the end of the A section, right? Or the verse, whatever you want to call it. 2 times, stand by me, okay? And then look at how many times in the chorus. "Stand by me, oh stand by me, oh stand by me, stand by me." Once again, looking at it on paper, you're kind of like, wow, that's a lot. Maybe you're wasting space there, but I would argue that that technique draws in the listener and sells records. Okay, so let's move into a little bit current current songs, because these songs haven't had as much time for radio play. This particular song by Destiny's Child, called Survivor, I think is genius in the way, so many cool writing techniques in this particular song. First of all, guess what it starts with? Now that you're out of my life, speaking to the listener in the very first line. We've seen this several times already. But look how many times you is repeated in this first verse. Now, this is a verse-chorus form, but you, though, you. Okay? Pretty cool, huh? So really, they're leading every line with you as a sub-hook of the song. The other cool thing that's not really on our topic, but I'll go ahead and mention, is opposites. Weak, stronger, broke, richer, sad, laugh. Opposite. It's a you, I, opposites. Now, let's move on to the chorus here. Survivor is the hook, right? Survivor, survivor, survive, survivin', which is interesting because they take it a little bit of variations there. But then look here, the secondary hook is I. Pretty cool, huh? I. Don't know if you ever noticed that without listening to it, but it never got tired to my ear. It just got hooky. It got repetitive and it was hooky. Actually, and then the chorus is repeated again with all the I's and the survive. So once again, I could count this several times with the hook repeated. And here, they took out you and they went to thought. Thought would be the hook here. But it starts out every line, and then we go back to the chorus and just repeat survive, survivor, survivin' several times. Okay, but to me still, even though you see all this, it doesn't get tiring to my ear. One more song that I always think of that kind of uses the exact same technique as Destiny's Child did there is Every Breath You Take. But in this particular song by The Police and written by Sting, go ahead and hide our ads there. It uses every as basically the hook throughout the whole song. Look how many times in this song every is repeated. Every. And if you're not telling me that that's a repetitive hook, I would say that you're wrong. So anyway, the only thing I was going to say, the only thing that doesn't have the hook in it is the bridge, but it actually does too. It has every in there as well. Now, once again, with the you, and several U's there, and then another U, and then another U, and then another U in the bridge. In fact, we would be hard pressed to find too many lines in this song that don't have a U in it and engage the listener. So, how can you apply this to your songs? Well, I would say just think about the message that you're trying to convey and ask yourself, if it's a story song, it may not work, right? I mean, you're using imagery. But if it's a message song, repetition might be a really good tool for you to apply to your own writing style. So with that said, I encourage you guys to start exploring that in your songwriting. Once again, thanks for listening, and this is Dave's Waves.